The tension in the Bronx has officially reached a boiling point after yet another soul-crushing loss. This time, in extra innings against the Texas Rangers, the New York Yankees find themselves spiraling into something far more dangerous than just a rough patch. This is panic mode. The cries to fire Aaron Boone have turned from frustrated whispers into furious roars. And now the fan base isn't just angry, they're scared. Scared that the season might be slipping away. Scared that the problems are bigger than a bad night. Or two. Because what happened on Monday night at Globe Life Field wasn't just a loss. It was a symbol of a team unraveling right before our eyes. The Yankees came out strong. They jumped ahead with a 3-run lead and looked like they might finally stop the bleeding. But by the time the 10th inning came to a close, they had fallen 8-5, marking their 4th straight defeat and dropping them to a record of 60 wins and 53 losses. They're now clinging to 3rd place in the American League East, barely keeping their heads above the Tampa Bay Rays. This wasn't just another notch in the L column. This game encapsulated every issue that's haunted this team since mid-June. Wasted opportunities, bullpen meltdowns, and a lineup that disappears when the pressure hits hardest. Early on, it looked like the offense might finally click. And then the Yankees loaded the bases in both the 1st and 2nd innings, but couldn't capitalize. Giancarlo Stanton gave fans a moment of joy with a towering 415-foot bomb, his 10th home run in the last 24 games. But after that, the bats went cold. Completely. On the mound, Max Fried struggled to keep the early lead intact. He gave up 4 runs on 8 hits in 5 innings, walking 3 and striking out 8. It was a gritty effort, sure, but nowhere near enough to stabilize the rotation that's hanging on by dental floss. Then came the bullpen, and what looked for a moment like redemption turned quickly into disaster. Luke Weaver, Camilo Doval, and David Bednar combined to hold a 1-run lead through the 8th inning. There was a spark of hope, a feeling that maybe, just maybe, they'd finally close out a close one. But Devin Williams, who was supposed to be the answer in the 9th, instead became the latest problem. He served up a game-tying home run to Jock Peterson, stunning the dugout and silencing the crowd. And the 10th, forget about it. Jake Bird stepped in, got 2 quick outs, and then unraveled. After issuing an intentional walk, he served up a 3-run walk-off nuke to Josh Young that felt like the final dagger. Offensively, the Yankees still had life. They put runners on the corners, with just 1 out in the top of the 10th. But just like clockwork, it fell apart. Austin Wells hit into a double play to end the inning, and with it, the game. Another opportunity missed. Another chapter in the book of frustration that this season is quickly becoming. But let's be honest, this isn't about one game anymore. This is systemic. This is deep-rooted. Since June 13, the Yankees have gone 18-28. 18-28. That's not a slump. That's not bad luck. That's collapse. They are now 0-6 in extra inning games on the road and 3-7 overall in extras. Those numbers don't lie. The offense, once one of the most feared in baseball, is now near the bottom of the league in batting average with runners in scoring position. The clutch gene? Gone. Vanished. Injuries have ravaged the rotation. Garrett Cole and Clark Schmidt are done for the year. The guys filling in? They're just not cutting it, not even close. And the bullpen, don't even get started. What used to be a strength is now a glaring liability. Luke Weaver's early season magic has faded into inconsistency. Devin Williams has lost his edge. Even the new guys, Bednar, Doval, and Bird, still look like they're trying to figure out where the clubhouse bathroom is, let alone how to close out tight games. It's chaos, pure and simple. And it's not just the arms or the bats. It's the mental side of the game, too. Booted grounders by Anthony Volpe. Head-scratching base-running blunders. At times, this team looks less like a playoff hopeful or more like a AAA squad playing pretend in the big leagues. Which brings us to Aaron Boone, the man in the crosshairs. He's been the manager since 2018. And yes, his regular season record is strong. Since taking over, only Houston and Los Angeles have won more games. But none of that matters if this team crashes and burns in August and September. Boone has always been a steady hand. He's known for his calm demeanor and player-first leadership style. But right now, the cracks are showing. The decisions are being questioned. The patience is wearing thin, and the results are impossible. To defend. Still, a mid-season firing. Not likely. General Manager Brian Cashman has never been one to make reactionary moves. The Yankees haven't fired a manager during the season since 1995. Boone still has strong relationships in the clubhouse, and ownership values his communication skills, especially when dealing with the relentless New York media. But make no mistake, if the Yankees miss the postseason, Boone's seat won't. Just be hot. It'll be a furnace. So now what? Where do the Yankees go from here? They've got a game on Tuesday that feels like a must-win in early August. Will Warren is set to take the mound, and somehow this game feels like it could define the direction of the entire season. That's how dire things have gotten. That's how fragile the momentum has become. One more meltdown and the spiral could get even uglier. The clubhouse is tense. The fan base is boiling. The pressure is suffocating. And yet there's still time. Barely, but it's ticking away. And just when things couldn't feel any more desperate, the Yankees made a move that perfectly captures the moment. They signed veteran right-hander Kenta Maeda to a minor league deal. A quiet move, a low-cost, high-upside flyer. And the question now becomes, is this a smart, calculated gamble? Or just a desperate reach for a solution that doesn't exist? Maeda, at 37 years old, isn't exactly coming in with fireworks. His last big league action with the Detroit Tigers was nothing short of a disaster. Over 112 innings, he posted a 6.09 earned run average. He was demoted to the bullpen, then designated for assignment, and eventually released. The Cubs picked him up on a minor league deal, and things got even worse. In his first few starts for AAA Iowa, he was shelled. In one game, he gave up 9 runs in a single inning. It looked like his career might be over, but then something shifted. Over his last 9 outings in Iowa, Maeda began to find his rhythm again. He lowered his ERA to 3.55. His strikeout rate climbed above 20%. His walk rate dropped below 9. And in his most recent 3 starts, he's posted a 3.18 ERA over 17 innings with a strikeout rate nearing 28%. Sure, it's a small sample. Sure, it's minor league competition. But right now, the Yankees aren't in a position to be picky. They need arms. They need depth. They need something, anything, to stabilize this mess of a rotation. Garrett Cole and Clark Schmidt are gone. Carlos Carrasco was traded to the Braves. Ryan Yarbrough is sidelined with an oblique issue. Luis Gil got shelled in. His return. Max Fried, Carlos Rodon, Will Warren, and Cam Schlittler are hanging on. But consistency is a distant dream. So when a veteran like Maeda shows even the slightest signs of life, it's worth the call. And financially, it's a no-brainer. Detroit is still paying most of his salary, and if he eventually gets promoted, the Yankees will only owe him the prorated league minimum. The upside? Maeda brings experience. Playoff experience. He's got a solid ground ball rate around 45%. He's a veteran with poise, someone who's been in high-pressure situations. If his mechanics are back in sync, and if his command is sharp, he could be a useful swingman or emergency starter. Worst case, he flames out in Scranton and nothing is lost. Best case, he becomes an unexpected X-factor for a rotation that's hanging on by a thread. That's where things stand right now. The Yankees are bleeding, the manager is under fire, the rotation is in pieces, and the front office is throwing darts at anything that might stick. There's still a glimmer of hope, but it's faint and fading. And if something doesn't change, soon the season might be over before September even begins. And just when it seemed like the Yankees might not have a lifeline left to grab onto, a familiar shadow stepped back into the dugout. After 10 long, painful days without him, Aaron Judge is back. And for the Bronx Bombers, it couldn't come a second too soon. This isn't just a star player returning to action. This is the heart, the soul, the captain, the one guy who, when he's in the lineup, shifts the entire energy of the team. The Yankees didn't just miss his bat or his glove, they missed his presence, his leadership, his aura. And now, with the season teetering on the edge, Judge is suiting up again, ready to pull this team out of the fire one more time. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments. Former Yankees outfielder Juan Soto has caused a stir in the baseball world with explosive comments directed at his former team. In a candid and emotional interview, the former MLB All-Star did not hold back, claiming the New York Yankees organization had a devastating impact on his mental health. That club destroyed me mentally, Soto confessed, clearly holding back emotion. His remarks come just months after his departure from the Bronx, where expectations were sky high and media pressure relentless. Soto, once seen as a generational talent, joined the Yankees amid immense fanfare, but the relationship soured quickly. He cited a lack of support from the coaching staff, front office, and even some teammates as major reasons for his emotional distress. It wasn't just the pressure, it was the lack of humanity. I felt like a product, not a person, Soto explained. His statement has ignited debates across sports media, with many fans expressing disappointment in the organization. Mental health in professional sports remains a growing conversation, and Soto's candid confession adds to the broader discourse. His testimony sheds light on the high-stakes environment of New York sports, where winning is everything in play. Well-being can fall by the wayside. The Yankees have yet to respond publicly. Soto's comments reflect a growing trend of athletes speaking openly about their mental health struggles, especially within high-profile teams. The Yankees, with their long and storied history, have often been labeled a pressure cooker for players due to immense expectations and unrelenting media attention. Soto described waking up each morning with anxiety, dreading every game, and feeling immense pressure to perform at all times. Every mistake I made felt like the end of the world, he said. While fans often see players as superhuman, stories like Soto's remind us that even elite athletes can suffer in silence. During his tenure, Soto's performance dipped slightly, compared to his usual standards, and critics were quick to pounce, blaming him for team shortcomings. He now reveals that the constant criticism and lack of internal support worsened his mental state. Soto emphasized that his love for baseball never wavered, but his love for playing in New York quickly vanished. The fans, media, and team structure combined to create an overwhelming environment. It felt like I was being watched, judged, and dissected every second, he said. His story resonates with many athletes and opens the door for deeper discussions about how teams can better support their players beyond physical performance metrics. In addition to the emotional toll, Soto pointed to specific incidents that exemplified the toxic environment within the Yankees clubhouse. He mentioned being reprimanded for seeking time off to manage stress and being labeled as soft by unnamed individuals in the organization. I tried to ask for help, but it was seen as weakness, Soto revealed. He explained how the culture within the Yankees prioritized toughness and grit over empathy and psychological support. Even routine slumps were treated as personal failures, and any deviation from perfection was harshly criticized. Soto recalled team meetings where players were called out publicly, leading to humiliation rather than motivation. This old-school approach, while successful in past eras, seems increasingly incompatible with today's evolving understanding of athlete welfare. Soto's case illustrates the clash between tradition and modern athlete needs. Former teammates have offered mixed responses, with some supporting Soto's claims and others remaining silent. Critics argue that Soto should have been more mentally prepared for the demands of playing in New York, but supporters stress that no athlete deserves emotional neglect. His revelations challenge the Yankees to reflect on their internal culture and whether it aligns with a more progressive, compassionate model seen in other sports organizations. Soto's remarks come at a time when the Yankees are under scrutiny for failing to meet recent expectations on the field. With a massive payroll and a star-studded roster, the Yankees' inability to secure postseason success in recent years has drawn criticism from fans and analysts alike. Now, Soto's testimony adds another layer to the critique, raising questions, not only about performance, but about how the franchise treats its own players. For many, this interview reveals that the problems in the Yankees organization may run deeper than the scoreboard. Soto's claims suggest that behind the curtain of one of baseball's most glamorous franchises lies a system where mental health is not prioritized. He urged other players not to stay silent and encouraged them to speak up if they feel mistreated. "You shouldn't suffer for a game you love," he said. The MLB Players Association has not officially commented, but discussions about potential investigations into team practices have already begun circulating. Soto's courage in speaking out could lead to broader changes in how teams manage player health holistically. His experience serves as a sobering reminder that mental well-being is as vital to performance as physical conditioning, and neglecting it has serious consequences. Looking ahead, the implications of Soto's comments could ripple across the entire league. His story may inspire other athletes to share similar experiences, potentially uncovering a broader pattern within professional sports. It also places a spotlight on the Yankees, who now face pressure to reassess their organizational culture and player support systems. The front office will likely be compelled to address these allegations publicly and transparently, especially as the media storm continues to grow. In the age of athlete empowerment, where players are increasingly using their platforms to advocate for better conditions, Soto's voice carries significant weight. He remains one of the most talented players of his generation, and his honesty has sparked an important dialogue. Fans, while divided, are engaging in deeper conversations about what it truly means to support a team. Does loyalty to a franchise mean ignoring signs of toxicity within it? Soto has moved on, but the scars remain. He hopes that by sharing his story, he can help prevent similar experiences for future players. The intersection of performance, pressure, and mental health is no longer avoidable in sports discourse. Thanks to voices like Soto's, it's finally being brought to the forefront where real change can begin. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the New York Yankees, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.